hadn't typed the address in yet. I was halfway through swiping the ride type when the app buzzed. Your Uber is arriving now. No input, no destination, just a black SUV pulling up before I could blink. The window rolled down, and the driver didn't say anything. He just looked at me, eyes hidden behind dark lenses, both hands on the wheel, unmoving. I hesitated, phone still in hand. Then he spoke. Heading home, right? Apartment 42B. My heart stuttered. I hadn't spoken it. I hadn't saved that in the app. My location services were off. I always turned them off. Still, I got in. The moment I pulled the door shut, the interior light flickered. I noticed the faint smell of bleach and something underneath it, damp leather and metal. The back seat was immaculately clean, like it had just been scrubbed. No phone charger, no music, no mirror to see the driver's face. The silence felt engineered. The car began moving without a word. The windows were tinted darker than legal, and even with the city lights outside, everything looked dim. We weren't going the usual route. I checked my phone. No signal. The app showed the ride was in progress, but there was no GPS map, no route line, just a spinning black circle. I leaned forward. Hey, I think you're going the wrong way. He didn't answer. He didn't even flinch. Then, calmly, he said, I know what's there. I froze. What's where? He chuckled. It was low, wheezing, like something trying to imitate laughter. Inside your apartment. The mirror above the sink. The one you never use. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I was too busy remembering that mirror. The one in the hallway that always seemed colder than the others. The one I covered with a towel last week after waking up with bloody fingerprints I couldn't trace. He kept talking. I know about the tapping. The shape behind the shower curtain. The faces in the corners of your sleep. I pressed the lock button on the door. Nothing. No click. I tried the handle. It didn't move. You left the bedroom closet open last night, he added, his voice like gravel sliding over glass. That was brave. I stared at the back of his head. The skin behind his ears was wrong, too smooth, stretched too tight. His neck twitched in small, rapid bursts like static animating flesh. Let me out, I said. I meant to scream it, but it came out thin, shaky. He didn't answer. Instead, he pulled into a narrow service tunnel. No lights, just concrete walls and a single red bulb pulsing like a heartbeat. We weren't on any road I recognized. I picked up someone else before you, he said slowly. She sat right where you are. She asked to be taken home too. The car stopped. He turned to face me. There was no face, just a smooth blank shape, like wet clay twitching, forming, shifting. For a second, it looked like mine. My own face, struggling to hold together, melting at the edges. She's still trying to leave, he said in my voice. The lights in the car shut off. Total blackness. I scrambled for my phone. The screen wouldn't turn on. I banged the door. The car didn't respond. Nothing did. Then a whisper. Not from him. From beside me. There was something in the seat next to me, breathing slow and wet. Its breath fogged the window. The car began to move again, deeper into the tunnel. And suddenly, it wasn't a tunnel. It was the hallway of my apartment. The one I'd walked every day. The number 42B, stenciled on a crooked door at the end. The same doormat, the same peeling paint. But we hadn't stopped. The car kept driving forward, through the door, into the space beyond it, into a room that shouldn't exist. A room with walls made of mirrors and no ceiling, just black sky. Reflections everywhere. Each one wrong. Each one moving on its own. I opened my mouth to scream. My reflection didn't. The Uber pulled up at exactly 12:33 a.m., just like the app said. It was quiet out, streetlights humming that sickly yellow. The car was a white sedan, older model, clean enough but with windows tinted far too dark for a neighborhood this dead. I hesitated, but I was tired and it was cold, and I just wanted to get home. The driver didn't say a word when I got in. He nodded once, eyes fixed on the road. The app pinged softly. You're the only rider. That's what it always says. I settled into the front seat, buckled up, glanced at the rear view, and froze. Someone was in the back. I turned slightly, pretending to adjust my bag. She was seated behind me. A woman. Pale skin, long black hair falling over her face like she'd stepped out of a rainstorm. No phone. No movement. Just sitting, looking forward. Her hands were clasped tightly in her lap. I cleared my throat. Hey, is this a shared ride? The driver didn't look at me. "No," he said too quickly. "There's someone else back there." Silence. I turned again. She hadn't moved. Not even to breathe. Her chin was angled too sharply, her neck too stiff. I could feel something like static fill the air, crawling across the skin of my arms. "That seat's empty," the driver said calmly. "You're the only one I picked up." I didn't answer. I couldn't. She wasn't blinking. Her eyes were barely visible under the curtain of hair, but I knew she was looking straight ahead. At the back of my head, we passed a traffic light. The reflection in the windshield caught her, just for a second, and I swear her mouth moved. Just a little. Whispered something. I turned. "What did you say?" The driver sighed. "I told you. There's no one back there." The woman twitched. It wasn't a human motion. Her whole body jerked once, as if yanked by strings. Her arms were still locked in place. Her head began to tilt, slow, creaking. I didn't look her in the eyes. I don't know why. I just didn't. The air got colder. I opened the app to report something, anything, but the screen had changed. The ride was still in progress, but my profile picture was gone. Instead, there was a still image of the car interior, taken from the back seat. From her angle. I was in it, looking scared. The driver's face was blank, eyes blacked out. And in the corner of the image, tucked into the shadows, a second face was just beginning to form. Mine. "What the hell is this?" I whispered. No answer. The car took a turn I didn't recognize. There were no street signs. Just a long, curving road surrounded by fog. No houses. No lights. No sound but the tires and my own breathing. I looked back again. The seat was empty. No one. Just a small wet handprint on the window. I froze. My body told me to run, to scream, to leap out of the car. But the door handle wouldn't move. It was stiff, stuck, like it had rusted shut in the last 30 seconds. I turned to the driver. "Stop the car. Now." He didn't blink. "She's been trying to get home for a long time." I said, "Stop the..." "She likes you." A whisper echoed from the back seat. Not a word. Just breath. Sharp and cold and right against my ear. I shot forward, pressed my hands against the dash. "Let me out. She doesn't want to be alone again," the driver said softly. "You should be flattered." My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I slammed my hand against the window. The car stopped. We were in front of my building. My real one. It was completely dark. Not a single light on, even in the windows that were always lit. The app buzzed. "You've arrived." I threw the door open, stumbled out, ran up the steps 2 at a time. I didn't even look back. I got to the front door, yanked it open, ran into my apartment, slammed the door behind me, and locked every bolt. I leaned against the door, panting, sweating, shaking. Then I noticed the smell. Damp leather, cold skin, something old. And then a whisper from behind me. "You didn't say goodbye." The ping woke me up at 3:08 a.m. My phone lit up with a receipt from Uber. "Thank you for riding with us. Your trip has ended." I blinked, confused, still half asleep. I hadn't gone anywhere. I'd fallen asleep in my bed watching some garbage reality show with the volume too low. But there it was. A trip. Pickup time, 2:12 a.m. Drop-off, 3:05 a.m. Total distance, 18.6 miles. The weird part, the pickup location was right outside my building. And the drop-off was also my building. Same spot. Same coordinates. I sat up slowly. My heart hadn't caught up yet, still beating its sluggish sleep rhythm. I tapped the ride history. The driver's profile photo was corrupted. A black square with faint, spiraling lines if I tilted the screen. The map was worse, just a jagged, flickering path that seemed to loop endlessly in tight circles before stopping where it began. Then I saw the photo. I didn't take it. Uber always snaps a safety check photo. I usually see the back of my head or a blurry street lamp. But this one was different. It was the interior of the car. And I was in it, asleep in the back seat, head tilted against the window. I stared at it for a long time, trying to rationalize. A glitch. Maybe someone spoofed my account. But I looked closer, and my breath caught. There was something in the photo that shouldn't have been there. A shadow next to me, pressed so tightly against my side it was almost part of me. It didn't have a shape, just an absence. Where its head should have been, the image was warped, like heat waves through plastic. And it had a hand on my chest. I dropped the phone. It buzzed again. A new notification. We hope you enjoyed your ride. Rate your driver. I didn't touch the phone. Just stared at it from across the room like it might blink. Then I noticed something even worse. My shoes. At the door. They were wet, mud-caked, with tiny flecks of leaves and grit like I'd been walking through an unpaved trail. My socks were still on. Clean. Dry. I hadn't left. I knew I hadn't, but the evidence was stacked like rotten bricks. I checked the apartment. Everything looked normal. Windows locked. Front door bolted from the inside. No sign of a break-in. But the hallway light was on, and I never leave that on. Ever. I picked up the phone. The ride map was gone. The trip now read, data unavailable. Please contact support. I tried. The chat bubble opened. No human, just an AI. How can we help? I typed, I didn't take this ride. Who was in the car? The response came too fast. We are not authorized to identify passengers. There was only one. I was the only one. Unless I wasn't. Unless someone or something took me and brought me back. I checked the camera feed from my building's front door. Nothing after midnight. No entries. No exits. And yet, I could still feel the curve of the seat against my back. A cold echo along my ribs, like a memory stored in the bones. The air in the apartment felt wrong. Heavy. Humid. I started hearing something like breathing, not quite from outside, not quite from inside. More like between. I went to the bathroom to splash cold water on my face. The mirror was fogged. No hot water had run. I wiped the mirror. My reflection was facing the wrong way. I backed up. Slowly. Turned around. No one was there. Looked back at the mirror. It was me. But not quite. My eyes were closed. My reflection was still sleeping, mouth slightly open, leaning against a window I didn't recognize. The same posture from the Uber photo. Still in that car. Still on that ride. The mirror went black. My phone vibrated violently. I looked down. New trip request. Automatically accepted. Driver arriving now. But I didn't order anything. The name of the driver was blank. Just a long, flickering underscore. ETA 0 minutes. A car horn outside. Once. Twice. 3 long beeps. I walked to the window and pulled the curtain aside. There it was. Parked under the streetlight. Headlights off. Just sitting there. Waiting. I work the late shift. Midnight to 8. Security desk at an office complex that's empty half the time. It's not the worst job. No one really bothers you, but some nights stretch too long. Too quiet. That night it was raining. Not the dramatic kind, just a thin, constant drizzle that made everything shine under the streetlights. I clocked out at 8:03 a.m., boots soaked from walking across the lobby. Normally I'd take the train, but I was dead tired and my head hurt. So I called an Uber. Driver's name was Malik. 4.9 stars. Gray Hyundai Sonata. Estimated arrival, 4 minutes. By the time I stepped outside, the car was already idling at the curb. I glanced at the license plate to confirm. Perfect match. Malik, Gray Sonata. I slid into the back seat. The driver didn't say anything, just nodded at me in the mirror and started driving. No music. No conversation. Just the sound of the wet tires and the soft click of the turn signal now and then. I leaned my head against the window. Everything felt muffled. But something was off. We passed the same gas station. Twice. I was sure of it. Same flickering sign. Same blue pickup truck parked out front with a tarp tied to the bed. I glanced at the driver. Hey, this the fastest route. He didn't respond. Just kept his eyes on the road. I checked the app. No map. Just a spinning gray circle. Trip in progress, but no estimated arrival. Hey man. I leaned forward a bit. Can you hear me? He lifted one hand, slowly, and tapped his ear, then shook his head. Deaf. Okay. Fine. Maybe he was just focused. Maybe it was my imagination. Until we passed the gas station a third time. Exact same truck. Exact same flickering sign. This time, I sat up straight. I pulled out my phone again. The app had frozen completely. I couldn't cancel the trip. Couldn't share it. Couldn't even exit. Just that spinning wheel and a faint background shadow, like the silhouette of a face I hadn't noticed before. I locked the phone and looked out the front windshield. There was no one else on the road. No one. At 8:15 in the morning on a weekday. No buses. No bikes. Just endless streets curving slightly left, again and again. I checked the driver again. He hadn't blinked once. His knuckles were pale against the wheel. His face was expressionless, like he wasn't really driving, just going through the motions. And then I noticed something else. There were no turns. We'd been looping gently left for 15, maybe 20 minutes. Always passing that same station. I stared harder the fourth time. The sign didn't flicker anymore. It was off completely. The truck was still there, but the windows were black. Too black. I reached up and tapped the driver on the shoulder. Firm. Not aggressive. Just enough. No response. "Malik," I said louder. "Hey, I think you're going in circles." He turned to me slowly. His mouth opened just a bit. His eyes never left the road. And in a low, dry voice he said, "I can't stop until you arrive." Then he faced forward again. I sat back, pulse picking up now. The windows were fogging slightly. I tried wiping one clear with my sleeve. The city outside was gone. Not just empty. Gone. There were shapes, yes. Blurred outlines of buildings. But no signs. No people. No color. Just tall, washed-out silhouettes drifting past like cardboard cutouts. I opened the app again. Now it said, trip duration, 3 hours 47 minutes and 18 seconds. Status and route, destination, home. But I never entered an address. I always let the app pull it from my saved profile. And that's when it hit me. I'd moved 2 weeks ago, but the destination still showed the old place. A basement apartment I hadn't been back to. I'd left that building after something happened. Something I didn't talk about. The neighbors. The smell. The weird dreams. I looked back up. The car had stopped. We were parked outside my old apartment. Only, it wasn't quite right. The building looked rotted. The windows were smeared. The front door was wide open, leaning off the hinge. There was no wind, but the trees outside twitched like they were trying to tell me something. The driver turned around in his seat. Fully this time. His face was wrong. Too smooth. Too symmetrical. His lips moved, but the voice came from the speaker. "We have arrived." I didn't move. He kept staring. And slowly, the locks on the doors clicked open. One by one. Driver's side. Passenger. Rear left. My side. All unlocked. The rain had stopped. Everything was silent. Not even the engine hummed anymore. "I'm not going in there," I said. Out loud. No response. I reached for the door handle anyway. It burned. Not hot, cold. Like metal pulled from a freezer. I looked out again. Someone was standing in the apartment doorway. Too far to see their face. Just a figure. Pale shirt. No shoes. Watching. Waiting. I took my hand off the door. And the car started moving again. No sound. No ignition. Just rolling forward into a different street. No gas station this time. No truck. Just road. Still curving. That was 4 days ago. I've been in this car for what feels like a week. I don't eat. I don't sleep. I just exist. Every few hours, the app resets. A new fake trip. A new destination. But we never get there. Sometimes I see cities outside. Sometimes I see oceans. Once I saw nothing at all. Just the shape of the car moving through a black so complete it made my teeth ache. I tried jumping out once. I opened the door while we were moving and threw myself onto the pavement. Or what I thought was pavement. It swallowed me. Not like water. Not like air. Just erased me. And I was back in the seat. Exactly where I started. Same bruises on my hands. Same driver. Still Malik. Still silent. Still waiting for me to arrive.